So we see there is the looping, maybe of your life. I suppose it's not, but you never know. There is a Zoom working, and this is us. No, no looping. We can go. Let me put the hour. Okay, 6:50. Yeah, we are live. Good evening. Good evening. We will continue our journey through and into the 8th movement to purify the prana, and a little preparation for that. We already did actually the 9 breathings to purify the stale prana, to exhaling the exhalation, the 9 exhalation of the stale prana that is caused by the fact that if we don't breathe really thoroughly, especially if we don't exhale enough, then there is condition that is called of the stale air. And then we did also the rhythmic breathing, because this kind of coordinated rhythm of the breath is really helpful in balancing and coordinating our energy, in lowering, actually can help lower blood pressure, can help lowering the heartbeat. Many good results of this practice. Obviously, when we speak about possible benefit from a practice, we have to take it with a little bit of, in Latin they say granus salis. So with a little bit of understanding what it means. It's not a medicine that you do 3 times and wow, oh, okay, everything has changed. Not really. First of all, we should understand well how to do it and start applying slowly. And then if you have, for example, any kind of physical condition, of course, maybe it's better if you listen to your doctor if he thinks there might be any counterindication. Counterindication of breathing that do not exist. We have to breathe. But the way we breathe changes many things. So we have to be nevertheless cautious what we do, and we should understand that nobody's saying that any of these exercises is solving health problem like a medicine. But it's a kind of practice that is from many centuries, has been transmitted by many important teachers, has been having value for thousands of people during the course of many centuries. So obviously there is some substance there. It's not a method that has been taught by somebody somewhere 3 years ago. No, the core of the practice of Yantra Yoga is ancient, many centuries. Actually, according to many studies, looks like that is really one of the oldest system of yoga in the world. I leave that to some more expert people dedicated to academic studies to see one way or the other, but is certain is a very ancient system of yoga, Yantra Yoga, and has this very interesting characteristic of being coordination of the movement, the breathing, the effect on the breathing and the holdings and the rhythm. So all these things together make it a kind of very special system of yoga. Now the 8 movements are part of 3 series of movements, are a kind of preliminaries of Yantra Yoga, but the 8 movements are really important because they help establishing the base. In the 8 movements, there is already all the principle that then can be applied in the wider part of Yantra Yoga, all the yantras that can be considered somehow as the same thing as described in Hatha Yoga or other kind of yogas. This time Hatha Yoga has become like saying yoga, but it's not really like this. There is different ways of practicing yoga. And so the name of the asanas or postures that are found in most system of Hatha Yoga or the kind of modern yoga, like all the yoga that comes from the teacher called Krishnamacharya, they took some special names somehow. It is a strange way of talking things, but is a little not so clear to me all this, what is really described as Hatha Yoga purely and what is not, a different tradition. So now there is a lot of form of yoga around. And anyway, also the same posture sometimes have different names according to different schools. But some are very common, like the camel, like the plow, like the half moon. So they are common names, and also these are found with the same name in Yantra Yoga. Some maybe are a little different, but some may correspond to what is asanas practice in other system of yoga. But again, going back to head movements, the characteristic of the movement is to purify the prana. It means to make our subtle energies coordinated and strong. Strong in the sense with more quality. In reality, the practice of yoga in general is not about really changing something, like building a new, different person, but is in finding and somehow liberating our own condition, in the sense that if you eliminate the obstacles, if you eliminate the tension in the body, tension in the breathing, tension in the mind, and we can relax, then our qualities can come out. So they're not created, they were always there, but shadowed by the tension, the obstacles. And when we can let go, basically at the end, you don't have to do anything. Then at the end, if you are finally let yourself be back to this condition, then anything we do a yoga, our condition is what they call yoga. Because in reality, the purpose is not that something that is limited to a session that you do in your house or a beach or in a yoga studio, but is what leads you also in your daily life, what can be changing, enhancing in our daily life. So this is the purpose of the practice. And then if you do that, we can really apply this principle of being aware, of being free from too much tension and too much limitations. Then what happens is that we can express really our potentiality. And this is the purpose of practicing yoga. It's not just necessary to have a more supple muscles or more flexible or doing some very particularly difficult position. Okay, some people who can and like to do that, why not? Of course, when we do certain kind of thing at this level, why there are also maybe they have a stronger effect on some levels. It's possible, why not? We have the body is interdependent with our energy, interdependent with our mind. So it's always possible, but doesn't at all mean that if you cannot do some of these complicated things, you cannot apply and have advantage and mature your capacity and your condition through yoga. Because it is. When you, for example, in Yantra, in this movement, you understand the principle and you are able to release the tension of your body, release the tension of your breathing, relax and release the tension of your mind, then that's it. What do we want more? So the point is in doing things correctly, even if they are simple things, but if they are done in a correct way, they work perfectly. For example, yet movements are not very complicated. For some people, even what we say not complicated can be complicated. For some people, even sitting on like this can be complicated. Not everybody has the same condition, the same limitation, or the same qualities. But the point is that if we understand the principle, we understand how to apply correctly what is the essential aspect of the movement, then even if we do it on a chair, we can still have very good result. Sometimes it's my experience also, some people who are too flexible, it almost become an obstacle, seriously, because they are so flexible that they start doing things mindlessly, not mindfully, mindlessly. So without being present, but being distracted, because there's a routine. And then they do, but that is not doing yoga. That is not applying something that is helping you to be present and aware. That is the ultimate thing that we can apply in every situation of life. You can be on a bus and you can try to be present and aware, but you can do some kind of strange variation of yoga in a bus. So it's not that if you don't do that, then you can't. No, not really. Also, definition of yoga, there are some definition, union, not union. Doesn't really matter. The point is that the principle, as I said that because I already said, I taught yoga for a number of years, but really being present, not being distracted, is the key of the practice, and actually is the key of also having a better life from different point of view. One can be interested or not to some spiritual experience, spiritual teachings, but everybody is interested in living better. And if we can be present, our life becomes better. Then you can be present in many things. Also, being present in our condition can help us understand in many things the nature of our existence, and maybe people are interested of developing this knowledge, understanding, and then according to our circumstances, we can meet one thing or another. We can decide to follow this or that. But the basic aspect of trying to be present is for everything. I personally, I don't know, but I never heard of any kind of method or teaching where they teach you to be distracted. And this is the path to have a better life. I personally never heard that. I keep hearing different kind of teaching, and always the basic point is trying to be present. Okay, but in any case, to practice well yet movements, we have to try to be present and try to not be distracted in the way we do the movement and the way that our breath is moving. That is a anchor, is the hook to help us not being distracted. And if you are not distracted and then become more effortless, then start to be more that you are present without having to be so concentrated on something. You can relax a bit. And so enjoy more the movement of the body, the movement of the breath, the relaxation of your mind. And the quality of the movement and the quality of our experience is really changing. So we have seen the 9 breathings, the short name, the rhythmic breathing, with space, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And this is very good, especially to lower anxiety, for example, to break the chain reaction of distracted and sometimes fearful or stressed mind. We do this. Maybe at the beginning, we have to really try to dedicate not to let your mind going away to the rhythm, and then slowly, slowly, the coordination of the breathing, the coordination of the brain becomes a little, allows us to be a little more less distracted. And to that, you can transition in a condition where you kind of feel more calm, more tranquil. This definitely can happen. In the meantime, we also train our respiratory system. That is an important thing, because without respiratory system, we don't live. We can live without an arm, without a foot, without something, but we cannot live if we don't breathe. Okay. So now we have seen the first, the second, and the third obvious movements. And now we will focus a little bit on the fourth. If it's possible, we also transition into the fifth. The fourth and the fifth are for fast exhalation and fast inhalation. So they are kind of a little bit together, like a small island inside the big island of the 8 movements. The 8 movements start with a long inhalation and they end with a long exhalation. In the middle, the fourth and the fifth, fast exhalation, fast inhalation. You see, the 8 movements are really, really, I would say, smart, an expression of intelligence. So we train a little bit this movement as usual, and then I also showing it on the chair. The reason why I'm not starting again from the beginning is because I want first to get with a little bit up to the fifth maybe, and then we start to doing one after the other, and enter into the rhythm. But first, because then the sixth and the seventh are a little bit to be trained, a little more maybe, because the position is a little challenging, not on the chair. In the chair is just fresh air. But otherwise, we need to train a little bit. So I prefer to do these 2 and then. Since our sessions are not very long, there is so many things to do. Even if we are sitting on a house, many people have so many things to do at the end of the day. So we just do a little bit learning these first sessions. And then when we know, we can do more a little practice and try to, I don't know if it's possible to have some feedback, what maybe people found still challenging or something is not clear, and then I might be able to try to help clarify. But I can try to figure out with a little experience what might be something that people tend not to have understood immediately exactly how it can be, and so maybe I try to give some advice of this kind. Okay, so as usual, we start with some little warm-ups. Then we do the 9 breathings, and then we go into the movements. So a little warm-up, we start directly with 2 to save some time. shaking. Then the leg. The other. So the purpose of this session is not really practicing together, at least for this first phase. Is more for me to try to teach you how you can do it. So that is mostly the purpose of this. Now you come here. Now you find some comfortable position, and we do something for the neck because getting to the fifth, there is a little bit of things with the neck. I prefer to just train something. So we put the wrist inside the palm, the edge of the palm, on the side of the skull. We have to stay a little bit to relax the neck. Oh, actually, it would have been better to try to turn the neck before doing the exercise, but I forgot to do that to see the difference. Now you will see anyway. Then we go above, remain a little more. Then we switch the other side. Don't try to push that down, just leave a little weight, that's it. Now above. Okay. Now turn your neck, your head, and see how it feels. It should actually feel pretty good, pretty loose. So now that is already pretty loose, we train this way. Exhaling and inhaling. Don't push it too much, but lengthen. Inhaling and exhaling. Now go to the side. Inhaling the center, exhale to the side without pushing. Now, like you want to put your ear to the shoulder. This is also training us for the sixth, slowly, slowly, starting to work for that. Okay, again, turn, one moment, and then go rounding. You have to keep your back straight. Inhale back, exhale in front, inhale back, exhale in front. Now change direction. Okay. So we stretch a little bit, put the foot under the knee, move forward a little. Switch. Of course, what we did before for the neck, you can easily understand how can be done on the chair. This one I already shown how to do on the chair. Then we try to move back one knee now, and we lay back, let the thigh stretch. Breathe normal, relax. Breathe from the nostrils. Then switch. Move back. If you find any problem with the knees or yeah, just you do be careful. Don't force it at all. Sometimes if you force the muscle, things like this is not so, but the knees, we have to be careful. As the neck, as the lower back. Okay. Then we go back in the previous position and see if you can go down more. And assure you can, and not just a little, but substantially more. If you think it's magic, it's not magic, but it works. Then the other side. And this is done without pushing, without forcing, without trying to stretch this and that. The right dynamic, smooth, long breathing, and things happen. Now we try to kneel. And see if there is problems or it's okay. This is the basic position for the fourth of the eighth movement. And now we train to move from this position, rolling back. We already did. We do it again. And then if you can, you roll back and sit. Then come up and go forward. And now we exhale going down, inhale coming up. Inhale here, exhale going down. Inhale here, exhale going down. And now we stretch our legs. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and go toward the knees, but keeping your spine straight. Okay? Not like this, exaggerated, but not like this. Try to keep the spine straight. Inhale and exhale. We have already seen the Vajra fist. You can do the Vajra fist and you put it at your side. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So this helps us training for the fifth. But also, you can inhale, help yourself up to cross over. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, if you cannot do that, because we need to train something to try to do the correct movement that is like this. So if we cannot do that, we have a few alternatives. One is to help yourself coming up like we did. But if you do that, you have to be careful not to hold your breath when you do this, because we are coming from this, and so you can do in this way. But you have to be really careful, really, not to do this, holding, and then inhale, because you are then creating a chain reaction of unbalanced things. So if this is difficult, then we can cross in this way. Crossing like this, and then opening. And we can train a moment to this. Crossing, and opening, and sitting. Then you can roll back normally. Crossing, and rolling back. Crossing, and rolling back. Crossing, and rolling back. Okay. This is a little training. Now we shake this. A little bit of shaking. A little bit for our back. You keep shaking down. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay. A little bit to the side. I would always do this because you have to keep your spine healthy. The other side. Then go back here, feet close to the buttocks. We inhale, arching, exhale, inhale, exhale. This is also preparation for the fifth. Inhale, and now if you can, you move forward and remain a little bit like this. Might not be easy for everyone, but it is another nice stretching. Don't let the knees open too much. Try to keep it a little parallel. Okay, roll back. Shake a little more. Okay, roll to the side and sit. And we do the 9 breathings. A couple of long fluid breathings. And now we go. Okay. So now we look at the fourth of yet movement. We are coming from the third like this. So here we would have to cross over, crossing the arms like in the first of yet movement, in this way. From the beginning, we are like this, and then we should try to do this movement like this. And here you are already, if you can, grabbing. And by the time you arrive, you are grabbing the other part. Maybe I have to move a little bit. Go back a little. Okay, so this finish like this, and then we should do this while inhaling. First, getting here, and then getting here. This is the transition. Like this. If you cannot do that, either you do this way, or you can simply sit. You are here, you know you can do it, maybe you are like this, and then you somehow go and sit in a normal way, and then start from there. Change again a little bit. Okay, so this is the front side. So if we start from here, would be inhaling. Okay. Inhaling, the arms like this, but the feet, they come up. Okay? So you are here, you inhale, do not inhale like this. Like in the first of the movement, do not do this. You start before, and then when you finish, you are like this, with the feet, the toes curled. And then we exhale and do the movement. Now I show you the movement so that it becomes then more clear what to do. Okay, this is the movement. So we sit from here, whichever way we arrive, we are like this. From here, we inhale in 2 counts, crossing and going up and lifting the feet. Then we flatten the feet, come down exhaling in 2 counts, but don't try to go too much down with the forehead toward the floor. Just keep the back straight, move the navel forward, and you exhale very nicely without having to push the head down and bend the spine. Then you start inhaling, like you inhale on your arms. And then gradually, you go up so that you are straight the moment that your elbow are at the level of the shoulders. I go back and come up again. And then you lock in. So you start lifting your buttocks and moving out your crossed arms at the same time. Not one before and the other, or the opposite. One and then come up. No. At the same time, they detach, and then the pace is locking when they are at the level of the shoulder. After that, we have to hold open. Hold open, it means you are not pressuring the air, you're not doing anything particular. From here, you come down, but not necessarily with strong force here. It's at control, and then you come down. And then when it's down, you start directing the cross arm toward the navel and bend quickly. That is the fast exhalation. That is the main point of this movement, is the movement for the fast exhalation. Even it says 2 counts, doesn't matter, it's a fast exhalation, and generally after having exhaled, there is a moment before coming up that you stay sometimes. It's not a problem. The problem is still should be strong, not like this. No, it's still a full breath, a full exhalation, even if it is fast. So it's also a little forceful, strong, a little strong when we exhale in this way. I take my glasses out. Open hold. You see, if you do this, you generally arrive right shy of the floor. Just if you do 2 things correctly, you do not ever bang your head on the floor. In order for this to be able to happen, you have to do a couple of things really wrong. One is instead of first sitting, the dynamic of this movement should be first sitting. No, you are like this, first sitting, and then going forward with the back straight. That's the way it should be done. But if you decide to do something really different, like going down first and curve, then you can very well end up banging your head on the floor. That is not exactly the purpose of the exercise. Is not this movement, is not this the idea. The idea is to expel thoroughly and fast the air. After having done once, we come up, arms along the side, spine straight, and toes curled, and then go back and do it again. In, out, slow in, open hold, fast exhalation, in, toe up, down, exhale, in, out, slow in, open hold, in, In, out, slowing. Open hold. In, out. Okay, I hope it is clear. It should be, I think. And so now we move a little bit into the next. I want to be sure that it's clear the part. I want to be sure that something is clear. When we first exhale here, we don't go back as much as we can. You finish to exhale, the cross arms right under the ribs. That's enough. You don't have to try to go down like this. Then when we inhale here, normal, this is an open hold. There is nothing particular to do, just relax the breath inside. And then this one gives the momentum of the going down, sitting first, back straight, keep it straight with the exhalation. These are two important movements, two important points. Now we are going to sit on the chair. Okay, on the chair. In this case, sometimes the position of the feet is generally always said should be parallel, not like this, not like this. And sometimes it's said more like the width of the hips, sometimes almost like the shoulders. If you have a chair like this, I would put it just next to the legs, and then you have a nice control. I already said that. So we are like this. We inhale. In this case, to mimic what is happening, we can lift our toes and exhale. Then inhale slowly. Open hold. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Slow inhale. Open hold. Fast exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Clear? It's simple, no? We reproduce the same in this position. When there are the feet to lift, we can lift because there is a purpose, of course. Or otherwise, the rest is the same. Even here, we keep the back straight when you go down exhaling the first time. And when we go down after the open hold, we go more in getting on our thighs, and we keep the back straight. If you want it to be even more, to make the feet a little more closed, how it would be if we were on the ground, we could even do this. But it's not that it's changing so much, but as you see, if you have a little support, it's more similar to when we are on the ground. Okay. But doesn't really matter very much in this movement. Can perfectly be done without. Now we are going to see the next movement. The next movement is for a fast inhalation. But this, we have to understand a little bit something about the breathing, how to do the breathing in the correct way, because it's important in this one. So we have said that the movement shape the breathing, and especially as important the way they shape the holding, because we don't simply hold. We have 4 different ways that we are supposed to hold in different ways. So the movement is what makes possible to shape the way that the air is directed, controlled on left, when after the inhalation we just hold. This is important. So the inhalation is what is preparing the right condition to help the holding be correct. In this case, for example, the movement is for the fast inhalation, but also there is the close hold. So here, the fast inhalation is done in a way that can shape how the air is sitting in the body, so to speak, so that when it is blocked where it should be. So we have already seen the open hold and the directed hold. So we have seen how the directed hold is bringing the held air that has been accumulated and kept there a little high with the open hold, helps bring it down. When the air is down and is controlled down, this is the closed hold, the third hold. Chilwa in Tibetan. Gawa, Jilwa, Chilwa. So what happens that when we lock the air, is locked down. So if you want to, that's my understanding, if there was the purpose of training and creating the easiest condition where this kind of holding can be done in the correct way, especially being the 8 movements part of the training, the preparatory series of movements, then it makes sense that you want to make it easy for this to happen. And if we breathe in the correct way, that is exactly what is happening. What is happening is that not much air is already sitting down in the abdomen. There is almost no air at all sitting on the chest, because the dynamic of the movement, the position, is favoring the air to come in, not too much, because it's a fast inhalation and already down. So that through the position and the movement, if there is something above, a little is still compacted down. And then when we do the full position for the hold, we are pretty sure that if you have done the movement correctly, the air is where it's supposed to be, down, below the navel. That's the place, the house of the closed hold. So in order to understand this, we do a little movement, exercise before, to have some experience. You put, first you stretch the nape. So like a little bit like you want to from the head to lift your buttocks from the feet. And then you bring the chin back and then down. So that really the chin is down and is really closing against the chest, really closing. If you don't do like this, it doesn't work. So you really have to feel the chin against the chest, but without hunching the back, keeping the back straight. Actually, while you are pushing the chin against the chest, you might want a little bit like moving the navel forward to balance, and then breathe. If you do this correctly, you should experience that air is only expanding in the abdomen. It's not really expanding in the chest. But if you just stay a little bit relaxed here, then you might feel like this, but shouldn't be like this. Should be really closed. And then the air is left the possibility to expanding. These are images on the abdomen. So that's what you want to have when you do this. You want to have not much air already controlled down. And this is achieved with the initial movement, with the position of the chin. So now I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show the transition, just the movement, the central part of the movement. So we will be like this. Oh, let me start from here. Okay, this is the movement. Here, first we inhale, lifting and possibly the arms along the side and lifting up the back. And then we start lowering the arms while we are bringing the feet to the buttocks, and we end up with the arms straight, with the Vajra fist close to the thighs and the feet close to the buttocks. If it's possible, we should be like this, and not with the shoulder closed, but with the shoulders open. Not push back again like this, straight along the side as much as possible, exhaling toward the thighs, and that should be the position. Head straight, not bent, straight. Let's repeat. Okay, now we are ready to go up. Now I'm doing it slowly, but should be done fast like before. Now, the moment you lift your buttocks from the ground, you let go the chin against the chest. So the chest is coming up and the chin are meeting the chest as soon as we move. And you breathe quickly, but not. It's still, there is still some air coming in, and because of the chin closing and the movement should be already be directed down. So when we are here, try to keep the knees together or at least parallel, not let the knee open, as parallel as you can. And when you are in this position, you have to tense the entire body. This is called Chunsel. We already saw Chunsel here in this movement, when you have to tense, and here the entire body is tense. So in this way, the sides also compact and tense, keeping the chin here will kind of keep also some tension, and really you lock the air around the navel. That is where the close hold should happen, around the navel. So after this, then you come down slowly in 4 counts. And now, if you can, you put the chin on the knees. Otherwise, you try to go as much as you can. And again, try to keep the back straight because you want to exhale really, really thoroughly. This is also important because the close hold should be done correctly, because the close hold is kind of also powerful in its effect. And so it's very interesting because after the close hold, there is a long exhalation. So you want to be sure that after this, you are exhaling really, really, really thoroughly and deep. So if there was maybe something, you can just let it go. And then here, then you inhale, try to coordinate the movement of the arms and the legs, they come together. And then we have to exhale forward, but here remember, generally it's possible that the tension that we have here, the tension of the body somehow, and here we are still controlling and exhale well, that some of this tension remains. So I have the experience that many people, after doing this, they go, then you have to let go. When you're finished to exhale, when you inhale, you have to not let close. And the trick to do that is not to do like this, but is to really, again, stretch along the side of the arms, parallel to the head, so that you free the throat from the tendency to close. And then move forward from the navel. Try to put your fingers on the toes, and if you can, your forehead on the knees, and that's how you should finish this movement. Okay? And now we see the transition. When we finish the 4th movement, we are like this, because we were like this, then inhale and exhale. So we are like this. We have to inhale, point, curl the toes, and then exhaling, we go back in this position. Pretty much what we have done for the breathing at the end, you know, same thing. You roll back, if you can, to the side, you can move a little bit the feet forward or backward, or the hands a little forward, backward. If some people have difficulty with the feet, they can try like this, for example, or they can try like this, that maybe is a little more correspond with the position up. For example, and then you can do in this way. But the way of moving down to get into the 5th movement, and then you stay like this, then you kind of roll back, and then you can land nicely. If you do something like this, you boom, and go. So keep the weight a little forward, and then moving back and you can control nicer. If it's really not possible, then again, you are like this, you somehow can go here and start from there. Okay, now I'm gonna show it on the chair. We already seen the fourth before. So in this case, I do it a little slowly. Inhale and exhale. So here you have to try to find a place, depending on the chair, where you can have a solid hook on the chair. Really, you have to have some kind of nice grip. Okay? You come forward, exhaling, and then inhale. Pants. Slowly exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Again, when you do this, then you close. Exhale. We could also try to do in this way. Can also be done in this way. Is a little more, still is possible with a little attention. Like this is easier, the base is more solid, is really easier. So now you see why I did this warm up before like this, because when you go like this, then important is that when you come up, that you keep the back straight. Again, you come up from the navel. Keep the back straight, but close the chin almost immediately. Okay. So these are the fourth and the fifth movement. So for now, tomorrow, for example, there is no session. If you want, you can check it out a little bit to have it a little more precise in the mind. And then day after tomorrow, when we do a session again, then we will do first, second, third, fourth, and fifth together. So we start having a compact, inhaling long and exhaling fast, and then inhaling long for the next three. So we start to see them rolling one into the other. But for the moment, even if you train them a little bit separated so that you can get the grip of how they should be done, is a good thing. Because otherwise we try also to do it together, but then maybe like this, maybe like that, and forget one thing, forget the other. I try to lead, but still you have to have a little bit of understanding and having applied a little bit to be able to do it together in a little more coordinated way. Now we do our fast exhalation that we've done these days. And then we do a little bit of movement of the breath and relaxation. So let the breath go without any control. If you want, you can observe the breath, but don't change it. Now, yes, change a little bit in the sense that after the exhalation, rest a little bit. Like if you were continuing kind of passively the exhalation. Let it exhaust in a way, consume, but in a soft, nice way. If you want to put your hands on the abdomen, you can. So you keep a little more present there and let it relax, smooth. And then inhale. Without blocking, after inhaling, let it smoothly transform into exhalation and then empty hold. And now let go again. Abandon completely the body. Let be the breath and the mind. Let everything without changing. This is called naruap. Remaining naturally relaxed. Whatever is the position of the body, whatever is the flow of the breath, whatever is the movement of the mind, you let everything as it is. Let any tension go away. Just let it dissolve, let it go. Open up the space of your body, the space of your breathing, the space of your mind. Now you move a little bit. Roll. Sit. Okay. We have finished. Next, day after tomorrow. Good day, good evening, good night to everyone. Okay, thanks.